What's up, guys? Happy Friday. Hope y'all are having a good one. Simon, what's up, dude? How you doing tonight? Good evening to you as well, man. Hope you are having a good one. I have got a couple packages to open and show you guys this evening. As you can probably tell, my voice is not 100% back. So, it's unfortunate. It's part of the deal. Especially with cold weather this time of year, I'm not totally recovered. But that said, I've got a couple packages to open, and I don't want to sit around waiting too much longer. So I am going to just hang out with you guys for 45 minutes or an hour this evening and show you some baits. I shouldn't hopefully be coughing as much tonight as I was last week. So anyway, Simon, Ron, how you guys doing? I'm going to use this swim bait hook as a little knife to open these packages, and I will get right into it and explain to you guys what I found. These were deals from the few days after the new year. So I've got two packages from places that I would not ordinarily order from. These are not discount tackle. However, the deals were too good to pass up. I could not help myself. So looks like I misspelled the title of this video, so sorry about that. I'll fix it after the fact. Couldn't help myself, not couldn't, whatever I said. But first package here is from a little place called Land Big Fish. Not sure if you guys are familiar with them or not, but I used to shop there sporadically, and now I fish there, or I shop there rarely. So only thing is, I noticed a week or a week and a half ago that they had some awesome deals going on. So good Lord, the packing tape that they are using here is ridiculous. I wish I just had some scissors close by, but I don't. So I'm gonna have to hack my way through this. All right, here we go. So here's Land Big Fish. Sent a sticker with the package. That's cool. Now, there is a reason that I made this purchase in particular, and we'll get to that probably last, just because I'm most excited about it. But while I was at it, I noticed that a lot of stuff was on sale, and for a pretty dang good deal. So I did go out of my way to, I want to say this was like $75 worth or something like that. Doesn't say, but whatever. So I talked about these recently, one or two times. This is the Z-Man Pro Cross. This is a new bait for 2021. And it's an upsized version of the TRD Craws. So very realistic Craw imitator here. It's going to be an awesome jig trailer, as well as a good little stand-up head. It's made to go with the new hook that Z-Man put out. So this is the old Finesse Bullets jig head, and this is the new Pro Bullets jig head. I'll just rig this up so you can see. It's a pretty cool concept here. It does have a weight on the shank of the hook, kind of like you'd get from a belly weighted swim bait hook, but but it's got a bullet weight attached to the head of the jig. So cool deal. And here's what it looks like rigged up. Now I posted an underwater footage deal of this on my Instagram like a week or two ago. Am I blurry to you guys in the video, or how's it look? Because it looks blurry on my end. Leave a comment and let me know how the quality is for you guys. I'm gonna refresh my stream on my computer and see if it's clear, but wasn't looking very good just a second ago. So hopefully that will clear up. Simon says it looks good. Only because I'm sick, says Ron. Yeah, maybe. All right, so here's what it looks like. Really cool deal. This jig head will allow, not only the bullet weight will allow the bait to come through cover and act as like a punch rig type of deal, but the weight on the belly of this hook will allow the bait to rest right there. So you're going to get a very natural defensive craw imitator here, where it's not going to stand straight up like if you did on a mushroom style jig head, which in my opinion is a little unnatural, but rather it's going to put it at a 45. So when you pull this thing, it's going to scoot like a crawfish would naturally, and then it's going to stand up at a 45. So really cool presentation here from Z-Man, and the Pro Craws is awesome. It's really beefy. Obviously it's made from Elastec, so super stretchy, very durable, and the Craw, the claws on this thing are a bit thicker than they are on the TRD Craws. So I've just found that I like that better. I like the way it stands up, and the Craws have their action. So anyway, I just got one pack of those because they were cheaper than you can find anywhere. Honestly, they were $3 and change, so I couldn't help myself. Secondly, I got a couple packs, or just one pack actually, of the Missile Baits D-Bomb Junior, the baby D-Bomb. And this was a color that I don't already have. It's called El Diablo. So really cool color here. It's got like a black and orange swirl on top, which then fades to a reddish orange belly. So beautiful color there. The D-Bomb was designed to be a flipping bait specifically, but also makes a great cold water jig trailer because of these, you know, flapping legs. They don't have a lot of kick, but are going to kind of wave in the water. So I'd put it right in the same class as like a Pit Boss Junior type of deal. Let me try and clear my throat. Good Lord. All right. So next up are some standard baits for me. I have a whole box of these, and let's see if I've got them accessible. I thought I did. Yeah, here they are. So this is the Rapala or Rapala, however you'd say it. And I asked that question on my Instagram the other day. I was just curious to know how you guys particularly pronounce the name of that brand. So do you, to Ron and Simon and whoever else is in here, do you guys say Rapala or do you say Rapala? Leave a comment. Rapala 1, Rapala 2. I actually say it both ways. I know that Rapala is the right pronunciation, but here in America, we kind of say things however we want to. So I've got the DT4s, DT6, and DT10s in this box, as well as a couple of the Rapala BX Brat square bills in here. So these square bills, yeah, Ron, you say Rapala. Bait and Switch says Rapala. Nice. And honestly, it was pretty split in my when I asked that question on Instagram. People really say it both ways. There were actually a few more people that say Rapala than those of you who say Rapala. But I know that the Rapala family and the company as a whole pronounces it Rapala. And I know that Mike Iconelli does as well. So I'm pretty sure that's the correct pronunciation. But Land Big Fish had an awesome deal going on for all Rapala baits, including the DT series of baits. So I picked up, looks like a half a dozen of the DTs. And I'll just show you a couple of these right now because I've got some duplicates. Actually, this is just 3 different colors of the same bait. These are all the DT4s, which I do end up saying it. I use the DT4 the most of all of the 3 sizes that I have in that box. They make them from the 4, 6, 10, 14, 16, and 20. And these are Balsa crankbaits that are mass produced. So it's kind of a rare deal in this day and age. Most makers of balsa wood crankbaits are like, homemade type of deals. And they tend to be inconsistent in how they perform. So that's one of the things about balsa. It does have a high float to it and a tighter action, but the bait is softer, less durable, and yeah, it's interesting. So Rapala, hand tunes and tank tests all of their baits before they go out. So these are mass-produced balsa baits that are high quality. Now, of course, you can't abuse them and slap them on the water and expect them to hold up, but these baits are thrown by virtually every pro out there and are super, super popular. So the DT4, per its name, runs about 4 feet deep. So this is a shallow water crankbait that's going to have just a little bit of a tighter action and a different deflection than a standard square bill crankbait. This is a small body crankbait, just at 2 inches in length. I want to say this thing weighs about 3/8 of an ounce. And what you'll notice is it's got a rattle in it. Just a single rattle that's a little bit high pitch. This is a color that I didn't already have, and I believe it's a newer color to Rapala. It's called Big Shad. This is a color that Ott Defoe, or Defoe, however you'd pronounce his name, helped produce because he would paint his baits in this color, and he makes his own baits in his garage, and they just came out with a new bait from Rapala called the OG Slim. So Ott's Garage Slim. It's a flat-sided crankbait, and this is his favorite color, Big Shad. So it's got like a greenish back, purple sides, a little bit of chartreuse line under that purple, and then a silver side and a little bit of a dark belly. So very cool color there. I got 2 of these, and I want to say these were $5 a pop. So really affordable. Ordinarily they would run for like $8 a pop, and again, I just couldn't help myself. So I picked up 2 in this color, the Big Shad, I picked up 2 in the Demon color. This is Ike's Demon. And I've got this color in the DT6 and the DT10. And it's one of the best springtime colors to throw straight up. It's very bright. It's like a pinkish orange. Bright orange belly, kind of like that fire craw color. And then it fades to like a darker, almost reddish back. A little bit of purple on it. So it's a crawfish color pattern. Again, you get that single rattle in there. Picked up 2 of the Demon. And lastly, 2 of another Ike's ink color called Old School. And this is a yellow color. So I'll pull one of these out for you. This is a muddy water shad imitator. So it's kind of like a chartreuse blackback. It does have a black back with some shine in it. Little bit of silver scales on the side. Yellow belly. And a little orange on the nose and throat of this bait. So the Old School is an underrated color in my opinion. One that I really like. But I only have one of them in the DT6. So I picked up 1 in the DT6 and 2 in the DT4. Now for whatever reason, when this package shipped out, that 1 in the DT6 was back ordered. It wasn't when I bought it, but by the time they packaged and shipped out this package, it was already back ordered. So that's on its way separately for whatever reason. But I picked up those 6 or 7 Rapala DTs. William, what's up, dude? I am feeling pretty well. Honestly, despite my voice being 80% back or so. I still have a little bit of a sore throat, but I haven't been feeling under the weather or anything like that. It hasn't held me back. I did get COVID tested just to be on the safe side since my wife is pregnant and I came back negative. So, it's just a little bit of a sore throat, not even a cold or anything like that. So, not worried about it, but thank you for asking. Looks like we got Eric Davis in the building. What's up, dude? Probably not going to send you any baits, but I am going to post a giveaway here in the next couple days, especially on my Instagram channel. So go check out my page over there at hooksets.are-free. Make sure you're following and keep an eye out for that giveaway because I may or may not post it here on YouTube. I will allow people to enter on YouTube somehow because some of the baits I'm giving away are from a subscriber, Riley Belden, who's usually hanging out in here. William's here. Riley's not. It's Friday night. She might be busy doing something else. Not a big deal. But hope you're doing well. William, the wife is coming along well. She's doing great. So thank you for asking. She is almost 32 weeks. She is eligible to get a COVID vaccine and could get it as soon as a week or 2 from now. So we're still kind of on the fence about whether she should do that or not, just because there's really no evidence of pregnant women or kids getting the vaccine yet and just how effective it is. So we'll see about that. But thank you for asking. Yeah, Eric, I'm good, man. All right, guys, this is the Picasso Lures Fantasy Football Jig Head. This is undressed. So this is a jig head that is designed for you to make your own jigs. And I have a skirt that is a June bug color that I plan to put on this guy. I might do that in the stream here after I unbox this stuff. But this color is called June bug. It's really just a straight purple, if you can see that. I don't know how much flake there is in that. a little bit of green flake, but what I like about this head is it's a classic football head with a little bit of texture on the bottom, and it's got a very recessed line tie. Can you see that? The line tie is like tucked into the head. So it doesn't stick out nearly as much as other football heads. And in my opinion, that prevents a lot of snagging. It does have a pretty robust weed guard. So sometimes I'll thin that out just a little bit. But it's pretty much trimmed perfectly. The way that I like my weed guards trimmed down is to where when it pushes down, it goes just to the barb of the hook. So I like it longer than the tip of the hook, but definitely not so long that it's going to go back to the bend in the hook. Okay? The other thing that I like is that, like I said, this is undressed and is designed for you to put a skirt up over the second keeper here, and then you use the single lead keeper for your bait. Okay? So cool head there, and this uses a relatively light wire Gamakatsu hook, which is high quality, and in a lot of situations, what you want. You don't always want a heavy wire hook. So anyway, let's move on. We're down to all brand new baits here on the market. Stuff that I'm excited to show you. Chris, what's up, dude? William, no big deal, man. Thank you for hanging out and jumping in for a couple minutes at least. Good to see you in here. Thank you for praying for my family. I really appreciate it. Chris, I'm just unboxing some new baits, man. Picked up a couple packages this week. Or I actually purchased these like a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, but they just came in the mail this week, and I thought I would unbox them live for you guys to see. So this here is a brand new bait for 2021. This is a new Chatterbait from Z-Man. It's called the Willow Vibe. Really cool deal here. They combined two different things from Z-Man. So one is their round head jig, and I forget what they call the name of this jig head, but as you can see, this is like a Demiki rig style head, perfectly round ball jig on there, single wire bait keeper, and a smaller 2/0 hook. I want to say this is a Mossy Ultra Point hook. Now they don't say. It just says a custom 2/0 black nickel hook. But what's especially unique is that this bait has a willow blade attached to the head. So Z-Man is famous for having that hexagonal shaped chatterbait blade. Okay? In fact, they have it patented. So Z-Man's patent on chatterbaits is twofold. It's one, the blade to head connection, which is direct. No other company can do that. And the other is the shape of this blade, the fact that it's hexagonal. So it's interesting that they decided to release a chatterbait that has a different shaped blade. So this is a willow blade, which is going to put out a much more subtle vibration and a different action. So small hook, small bait, and I've got a perfect match for that thing. I'm going to use the Strike King Baby Z2 in the matching color. This is called Arkansas Shiner. Z-Man just calls it Shiner, but the Strike King soft plastic that I'm going to put on the back of this, the color is called Arkansas Shiner. So all right. Now, I mentioned this bait a few minutes ago, and I actually picked up two of them. They were pretty much all sold out by the time I got to these. This is why I made this purchase from Land Big Fish, and this is the brand new Rapala OG Slim flat side balsa crankbait. So OG stands for Ott's Garage. as you can see on the side there. Ott's Garage series. And this is size 6, which refers to the diving depth of this bait. It will dive 6 feet. This bait is 2 3/4 inches long and weighs a ½ ounce. So this is not a lightweight or small balsa wood crankbait. It is definitely a medium-sized bait. It's got a circuit board lip, which is really unique to Rapala, which is rounded in shape and very flat sides. This looks like a homemade lure, and that is the whole point. This is the same bait that Ott used to make in his garage and has now allowed Rapala or Rapala to start making on a larger scale and selling on his behalf. So very cool bait, flat-sided crank that dives 6 feet deep. Now it has 2 hybrid treble hooks on here, which is a little bit rare for Rapala to do. You know, VMC and Rapala are from the same family of companies. So these are VMC hybrid trebles. So somewhere between an EWG and a round bend. I want to say these are probably like a size 4, but don't quote me on that. They could be size 6. I don't know. Anyway, as I said, they only had 2 colors left in stock, so I decided to pick one of each up. This is the Perch color. I think this bait is going to retail for 10 bucks, and I got this for like 7. So at like 30% off, I couldn't help myself. This other color is called Mossy Chartreuse Crawdad, and that's exactly what it is. It's got a brown back, yellow sides, and an orange belly. So this is more of a muddy watercolor, Crawdad imitator, but still kind of like a chartreuse blackback type of profile, and I like that a lot. So anyway, these are silent baits, no rattle in them. Like I said, ½ an ounce, so they should be very castable. Though I'll be curious to see how well they cast, given that they are flat-sided baits. But I'm really excited to have those and throw them in my box of flat sides and give them a shot in the spring. Last bait up is also brand new to the market. Also was discounted on Land Big Fish during their sale. And this is the brand new Hybrid Hunter crankbait. So this is the junior size. In particular, they do make this in 2 sizes. However, the story behind this bait is that Todd Castledine, who used to be with Strike Pro, made this bait, and then Strike Pro went out of business, and he was with 6 Sense Lures for a number of years, helped them make this bait, and now he's with Strike King and just helped them make this bait. So the only other bait like this on the market is the 6 Sense Swank 77X, and this junior size is the closest thing to it in terms of profile, but weight-wise, it's quite a bit lighter. So the standard size Hybrid Hunter is going to be bigger and weigh closer to what that Swank actually weighs, which is just shy of an ounce. So let me show you the subtle differences here. So here's the Swank, and here's the Hybrid Hunter. It makes me kind of wish that I would have gotten the full-size one, because this makes the Hybrid Hunter Junior look quite a bit smaller than the Swank. But I could have sworn that measurement-wise, it was supposed to be about the same. So I was wrong about that. This junior size is 3 inches long and weighs a ½ ounce. So very standard size crankbait, a little bit longer profile than most, but what makes these baits unique is the L-shaped bill, okay? So this bait is gonna run horizontally in the water at a relatively shallow diving depth. I wanna say this thing runs like 3 feet deep, 2 to 4 feet, and it's made to run over the top of grass. So this is a grass fishing bait in shallow water. So made to run over the top of submerged vegetation. Mostly going to be a summertime play, but could certainly be a late spring and early fall bait as well. This color here is called Chartreuse Perch. And let's listen to the rattles in it. Pretty loud bait, but so is the swank. The swank is louder and it's bigger and it's heavier. So the swank only comes in that one size, which is 77 millimeters long, which is pretty much 3 inches long. But as you can see, it looks a lot bigger than this Hybrid Hunter Junior. So that's interesting to me. The Hybrid Hunter in the full size will be closer to that, and it's going to weigh closer to an ounce. So Chartreuse Perch, and then I also got it in the green Gizzard Shad, which is just one of my favorite Strike King colors as of late. It's kind of like a pro blue, pro green. It's got that green back and that clear Gizzard Shad type of profile. A little bit of shine on this one. You know, the other baits that I have in green Gizzard Shad don't really have that holographic finish that this one does. So I like that a lot. And this is just going to be a little bit better in clear water. And the Chartreuse Perch is going to be better in muddy water or low light conditions. So, BJ in the house. What up, dude? How you doing, BJ? Sounds like Ron ordered one of those in the Perch from Tackle Warehouse. Good for you, man. The Hybrid Hunter should be a cool bait. I actually kind of like that I have it in you know, 2 sizes now, with the swank being bigger and heavier and this smaller Hybrid Hunter being a classic ½ ounce bait. They're both shallow runners, but anyway, I'm excited to have that. So, like I said, I ordered that that package because I saw the OG Slim and the Hybrid Hunter in stock and on sale and could not help myself. So I poked around a little bit more, saw what else was on sale, picked up some of these, you know, Willow Vibe chatterbaits, a couple soft plastics, some jig heads, and called it a day. So good little package there. And then I've got one from Tackle Warehouse as well. And ever since I've started working with Discount Tackle, I really haven't shopped at Tackle Warehouse very much, just because the selection is getting better and better at Discount Tackle all the time. And their stuff is cheaper. So I can't help myself. There are certain times of year, like the Black Friday sale, where I feel like I kind of have to take advantage and go out of my way to buy stuff that I know Discount Tackle doesn't carry. So anyway, let's see what we got in here. Funny enough, the first thing on top is another pack of the same damn chatterbait. This is the Willow Vibe, also in the 1/4 ounce and in the Arkansas Shiner color. So I think I'm probably going to throw this in a giveaway in the next month or 2 instead of returning it. So one of you guys will get lucky, and that's a cool deal. But I don't know why I ended up buying that. I guess I just hadn't remembered that I just bought the same thing from Land Big Fish. Okay, next thing up, and this might be the reason that I ended up pulling the trigger, or one of the reasons. No, now I can remember actually. So this was at the very tail end of the 25 Days of Christmas sale that Tackle Warehouse does every year. They didn't have a great selection of stuff on that sale, but there were a few baits, and two of them are in here that I wanted to get, but I couldn't quite justify making a whole purchase just around those baits. Usually I like to spend enough to get free shipping wherever I'm shopping, and at Tackle Warehouse that's $50. So I threw a couple more things in there and called it a day. But I noticed that the Berkeley Max Scent Flatworm, which has been arguably the hottest smallmouth bass fishing lure in the last 2 years, I noticed that they had the black color in stock. Like everything else was sold out, as it has been for a long time. They might still have this color in stock right now, so if you want to go look, you can. But black is a sleeper of a color when it comes to smallmouth fishing. And it can imitate a few different things, especially a leech. So I'm going to pop this bag for you and get my fingers all stinky. The main reason that this bait is so effective is the scent on it. But aside from that, it's the profile. This thing, the Flatworm, is a tiny little 3.6 inch bait, which imitates a worm, a leech, a goby, all quite well. It has a flat bottom, a horizontal spade-shaped tail, and a baitfish or worm-shaped profile. This bait right here has been an absolute moneymaker on all pro circuits over the last 2 seasons. The plastic on this is surprisingly soft, and I like that a lot. So I'm excited to have this. I picked up 2 packs of them. They come 10 to a pack, and I want to say they retail for like $8. So they're not cheap, but you're paying for the Max Scent itself. It's got a very different scent than a standard power bait, very different than Gulp, all of which are effective, but the Max Scent has been selling like hotcakes for a long time. So I mentioned this bait quite a few times recently, and this is the dual hardcore flat minnow jerkbait, or flat shad minnow. Okay, and this bait is new to the market in the US, but has been discounted heavily for whatever reason on like most platforms. So if you can find these anywhere and for a discount, I highly recommend that you pick them up. Most of them have been bought up, and some places have returned the prices to their original prices, which even at full price, which I think these retail for like $13, I think it's worth it. These are a very sophisticated JDM jerkbait. So Dual Hardcore is a Japanese company. It's in the family of lures of Yozuri, but it's just a little bit higher quality with everything you get, from the finishes to the hardware, to the design and the actions of the bait. Now, this is the Minnow Flat 95, which for its size, you know, at less than 4 inches in length, and this thing weighs 7/16 of an ounce. It weighs just a little bit more than most baits of its size, which would be like 3/8. And it has 3 hooks on it, which most baits would have 2. So those are a couple cool features, as well as the color here. You know, this is called Skeleton IU. Pretty clear bait. with some yellow and green on it. But then the internal weight transfer system, I don't even know if I'll be able to make it happen. Golly, this one's pretty stuck. All right, just flick it and it goes back. So one of these balls stays up front, one slides to the back to aid in casting distance. And then as you start to retrieve this bait, the ball slides up and it's magnetic. So it sticks to the front ball and stays there. So this thing's going to have a slightly nose down posture and a really crisp action. It's got flat sides to it. It has a pretty erratic darting action. A number of people, including Ryan Salzman, who is a guide on Lake Gunnersville and just a really good fisherman. I think he fishes the Elite Series, if I'm not mistaken, has been talking about this jerkbait a lot. But I have been too, mostly because of the deals and the quality. Let me catch up on these comments real quick. Justin in the house. What up, Justin? Just got home from work. Saw the live. Figured I'd stop in and say what up. Got to get up at 4, so I'll probably fall asleep listening. Dang, dude. Well, don't mind us hanging out for just a little bit. I'm going to show another handful of baits and probably dip out of here. We've been on for 40 minutes already. I'm just unboxing some of these cool deals that I found. And, yeah, try not to ruin my voice too much. But next up is a bait that I actually don't have in my arsenal. And this is the 10,000 fish Yodo worm. To be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of Ketchco, Mystery Tackle Box, a lot of what they do. But this is one bait, and they've got a couple that that have caught my eye. But this is one that definitely intrigued me because I see it as an awesome trailer on a chatterbait, on a spinnerbait, and also just kind of a unique worm or fluke alternative. So this thing has ribs all the way down the body, a very thin tail for loads of action, a solid head, so you could Ned rig this thing on a bigger Ned head. You could throw it on an EWG style hook and fish it like a soft jerkbait, or like I plan to do, you could thread this on the back of a chatterbait, and this thing is going to fill out the profile and give it some awesome action on the back. So this again is called the Yodo worm. And wait, I thought this was made from like an elastag type of material, but it's actually not. I thought like the Sakoshi bug that this thing was going to be stretchy, but it's actually more of just a standard soft plastic. So whatever, I can't say I'm disappointed, but I do think this is a cool concept of a bait, interesting profile, and I do intend to throw it primarily as a trailer on a chatterbait, as well as maybe a spinnerbait. Greg Whitaker, what's up, dude? Love the Mac scent and the matte look on that creature. Yeah, totally agree. The Mac scent colors are very muted, and I like that. So anyway, just got this one pack in green pumpkin, pretty standard, mostly just to try it out. And speaking of, I got one pack of the, well, not so new anymore, but this has been hyper popular this past year, and this is the G-Crack Bellows Gill. Kenyon Strange, what's up, dude? How you doing? Yeah, guys, we got 10 people in here, 9 thumbs up. I appreciate you. If you haven't already hit that thumbs up button, do me a favor and do that real quick while I showcase these last few baits for you. So again, this is called the Bellows Gill, and Geekrack is a company out of Japan who came to the U.S. market, a year or 2 ago. Oh, weird. People have said this smells like popcorn or Fritos, and it does. Somewhere between. But pretty similar profile to that 10,000 fish Yodo worm that I just showed you, but it's wider, okay? This bait is meant to imitate a bluegill more than a shad, and it's not designed to be a trailer. This bait is designed to throw on a weightless Texas rig, on a drop shot, on a free rig, and has been reported to be a killer. So if you guys watch a couple other, bigger, more popular YouTube channels than mine, you might have found out recently that on an episode of Smallmouth Crush, Brian the Carpenter from Ike Live kind of spilled his beans and told everybody about the Bellows Gill and all the success that he had on this bait earlier this year. And Travis, aka Smallmouth Crush, freaked out. He's been trying to keep this bait hush-hush, but a lot of people have been hyping this bait up over the last year or so. Only thing is, it's not very durable. It is a super soft plastic, and it's expensive. So there's 5 in this pack of the middle size. This is the 3.8 inch. They make them in a smaller 2.8 and a larger 5.8. But this costs like $9. So you're paying almost $2 a bait for these soft plastics that might only last you a fish or 2. So I very well might use a screw lock type of hook to try and extend the durability and the life of the bait. But I will most likely fish it on a weightless Texas rig or a free rig, which from my research and what I've heard about the bait is where it is going to excel. So that is a bluegill imitator more than anything. Greg says the Yodo worm is a good trailer. I'd choose a Zako over it. Yeah, man. My YouTube video on like top 10 chatterbait trailers that I made, I don't know, a year or more ago, the Zako was at the top of the list, and that's been a really popular video. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think of those baits. I plan to make it kind of an updated video, or like an a part 2, if you will, throwing another bunch of baits in there that I also throw on the back of a chatterbait. And some of these newer ones might make the list for me. So I've made a point to go out of my way and pick up some other baits to try on the back of a chatterbait. One is this Big Bite Baits Kamikaze Swim On, that Yodo worm, and a handful of others as well. So Greg, this is called the Geekrack Bellows Gill. Okay? Yeah, BJ, they do make a lot of crazy looking baits. That's kind of the point, right? The Japanese are very intentional and detail oriented about what they do. Very innovative. They make high quality stuff, but it usually costs a bit more. So that's not super mainstream here in the US, at least as of yet, but it can get a lot of hype. And so they make the Bellows Craw, the Bellows Stick, this Bellows Gill, and yeah, a handful of other baits. They make a swim bait. They make a hard swim bait, a soft swim bait, and a few others. but they're worth checking out. You know, I'm not gonna buy up a whole bunch of their stuff, but again, kind of like that Yoda worm, I wanted to see what the action is like on this thing and just what the fish think of it. So decided to pick it up in the middle size, which in my opinion is going to be the most appetizing, most realistic profile to imitate a bluegill. The 5.8 is huge and only comes 3 to a pack, so they're really expensive, and it might be too big to catch most fish on. It would just be like a giant fish type of bait, but the 2.8, in my opinion, is going to limit itself to a drop shot. And it might be too small to look like a realistic bluegill. You know, it would be like a baby-sized bluegill, so I don't know about that. This is just a green pumpkin, Ron, because I use dyes myself, and I will probably throw a little bit of chartreuse on that, maybe a little bit of orange, but I decided to get something a little bit more, you know, simple to start out with, something that's more versatile. So I've got 2 more baits to show you. And yes, Greg, I have, and I actually have that bait coming in the mail right now from my monthly discount tackle order that I placed the order like 4 days ago. So you'll see me streaming next week about that. I got both the Love Bug and oh, what's the name of their beaver? You know, they have a beaver and a craw now. I picked up 1 pack of each of them just so I can show you guys. But it definitely is different. The action is going to be different, and it's more about that flutter on the fall because it's got like a squid type of design to it. But yeah, man, I have seen that and just picked up a couple packs. All right, guys. Next up is the Bill Lewis MR6 crankbait. And this bait is essentially a hard plastic version of the Rapala DT6. This was designed by pro angler Mark Daniels Jr. And I could pull my DT box back out and show you the subtle differences in body shape and design between this and the DT6. So here's the MR6 and here's the DT6 side by side. Okay? Pretty similar profile, pretty similar size. The DT6 is balsa wood and has a very faint rattle in it. Whereas the MR6 is plastic and has a louder rattle. Still not super loud, but it has a legitimate rattle in it. So I picked up 3 colors of this bait while it was on sale as part of the 25 Days of Christmas from Tackle Warehouse. As you would get from other Bill Lewis lures like the Rattle Trap, this comes stock with Mustad triple grip hooks on it. These are like a size 6, and it looks good to go straight out of the pack. It's got a shorter bill on it than the DT6 does. However, very similar shape, similar profile. My guess is that MDJ just decided that he could make the same bait, but in plastic with a rattle, and it might sell well. So this bait has a weight transfer and will probably cast a little bit better than the DT6. It does weigh a ½ ounce. So casting distance is going to be better on this, but the sound and the action is going to be a little different. Because it's plastic, it's going to have a wider wobble to it, although the bill is thin, or narrow, I should say. And that rattle is going to attract slightly more aggressive fish than the DT. So good to have similar baits with slightly different actions, and I'm excited about that. So I picked up 2 more colors. This one is called Threadfin Chad, and is a very like classic shad pattern. Okay, kind of a greenish back, fades, well, black back, goes to a blue, then purple, and then a chartreuse line right down the middle. And then it actually has a like a translucent or like a subtle white belly on it. So very cool color here. Again, subtle rattle. This one you can actually see the ball roll forward. And you might be able to see it in this last color too. And this is called Ghost Craw. So I really like colors like this in the wigglewort. And this probably bridges the gap between like a DT6 and a wigglewort. So you get more of a profile like the DT6, but a similar diving depth. And when you use craw patterns like this strawberry craw and this ghost craw, you can attract the same type of fish that are feeding on crawfish in the springtime. So in this color, you can see the weight transfer where that ball goes from the back to the middle of the bait. And then what's actually going to make the noise is the ballast ball toward the front of the head. So interesting bait there that I had just been holding off of getting just because I use the DT series of baits a lot. I use wiggleworts a lot. And I've been adding to my box of mid-diving crankbaits a lot over the last few months. And I feel pretty good about the baits that I have. So I've got wiggleworts. I've got some Berkeley dredgers in the smaller 10.5 size. I've got Strike King 3XDs and Norman little ends. And then I've got 6 cents curved 55s and Spro rock crawlers. Both in the 55, but some in the regular diving model and some in the MD. So I didn't really feel a need to get another small body mid diving crankbait, but the MR6 was on sale as part of the Tackle Warehouse deal. So I decided to take advantage while on there and making a purchase. So that was really one of the 2 baits that motivated me to make this purchase. The other one, and this is the final bait that I'm unboxing right now, this is the Ima Flit 120 jerkbait. I've talked about this bait a handful of times. And Ima is a company that's part of the family of companies that is Optimum Baits. But this is a Japanese company, and like I've mentioned with Yozuri and a couple of other companies, including Dual Hardcore that I just mentioned with that Minnow Flat 95, you get really good quality for the price. So the value in these baits is super high quality. So this bait retails for like $10, and I want to say it was on sale for like $7 a pop. And there are a few things that make the Ima Flit really unique. Yeah, Ron, you're right. It's the flip-flop. That's the other one. The flip-flop is the beaver, and the love bug is the craw. Sorry for the late response on that, guys. Greg says, I just made some spider Medusa Ned jigs in Threadfin Chad. They turned out amazing. Right on, dude. Good for you. All right, guys. So this color here is like an elegy bone type of pattern, but Ima calls it ghost chartreuse herring. So it's just like Megabass makes with the elegy bone. So you get that bluish purple back, that skeleton clear side, and that chartreuse belly. No diggity, Justin in the house. What up, dude? Now, the Ima Flit, you can probably tell just by looking at this bait. It's a pretty narrow profile. It's got relatively flat sides on it. It's got a pretty long but skinny bill on it. And most importantly, look at the rattles inside this. It's got multiple rattle chambers that are triangularly designed. So these big balls are there and fixed for weight purposes, but it's got all these tiny BBs in 1, 2, 3 sections of the bait. Well, really just the middle 2 sections. And so this is a loud jerkbait that sounds actually a little bit more like a lipless crankbait than any other jerkbait on the market, which is super unique. And then 2, for its size, this dives a bit deeper than most in its class. So it is 120 millimeters long, a little bit bigger than that standard 110, but it does weigh a ½ ounce, you know, kind of right at that standard size, 4.5 inches, ½ ounce. But this guy dives up to 7 feet. So most jerkbaits in its class would be like 4 to 5 foot divers. This is a 6 to 8 foot diver, which for most is like a deep diving jerkbait. So like the Megabass 110 plus 1 is going to dive in this range, but the Ima Flit already dives there straight out of the box. They make this in a 100 size, which is a little bit shorter, but it's got 2 hooks on it, and it's not going to weigh a full ½ ounce. So I like the castability and the fact that it's got 3 hooks on it. So I picked up 2 of these baits. I think I mentioned it retails for about 10 bucks, and I think I got them for $7. So ghost chartreuse herring, and then bone shad. Oh, get out of here, BJ. Definitely not like a Guggen jerkbait. If anything, Guggen baits are like other baits, but no. This is not like a Guggen bait. So, yeah, don't even bring that up in here. This is the bone shad color, okay? It's pretty much a straight pearl white. I like that black eye and that orange belly. As you can see on the top of the bait, it says Flit. Give it a shake one more time for you. And that is loud. So, I already had a couple of the Ima Flits in my box. But I wanted a couple more to complement the colors that I had. So, I had this one that they call Silver Lining, which is like a very flashy shad pattern, great for sunny days. And then this like Ghost IU, I forget what they call it, but this is just kind of a do everything type of color. So I wanted a couple more to round out and be able to kind of cover my bases for all scenarios. So you know, I'll throw the bone shad where it's a lot more cloudy or the water is a little bit off colored. I'll throw that ghost chartreuse herring when I'm fishing around smallmouth or more aggressive fish. And then, like I said, the Silver Lining in high sun and clear water. And then this Ghost IU is just kind of a do everything If I could only bring one, that would probably be it. So, I'll tell you what, BJ. We do not like Guggen up in here. I've got 2 boxes of jerkbaits, and these things are stuffed to the brim. I don't even want to estimate how much these 2 boxes are worth, because it could be pushing $1,000. But out of the 100 plus jerkbaits I have here, not one is a Guggen Baits jerkbait, okay? So don't bring that around here. Guess you're gonna get out of here, huh? Yeah, honestly, I'm not a Guggen hater. I like the Guggen squad just fine. I watch a lot of their content. I definitely used to watch a lot of their content. They're part of why I got into fishing 4 or 5 years ago. More individually as content creators than what they do as a group. And I don't blame them for doing what they did in starting to create products and sell stuff under their name. I just don't like the way that they've gone about doing that. And I don't think that the stuff that they make is super high quality. Almost everything that they make, now I should watch myself in saying this, but most of the stuff that they make is like a copycat of something else. Now, they do put some focus on quality, which I can appreciate. So the hardware and the hooks on some of their hard baits is good. But the designs, how they come up with the concepts, as well as where they have it made, and the quality of the plastic itself and the paint jobs just doesn't suit my fancy. Honestly, I prefer to go with more established names in the industry or Japanese manufacturers, companies that really care about the product that they're making and not so much about the money that they're making. And I feel like the Guggens in the products that they make and what they're selling are mostly out to make a quick buck. Now, they do care about quality because for the most part, they are fishermen themselves, or at least used to be hardcore fishermen. So there's some stuff that they've done well, in partnering with Bass Mafia and in licensing the Rage Tail patent originally, but they've since found a way around that, and they're cutting corners in a lot of ways that I don't really respect, and I don't like a lot of what Lojo has done recently in talking smack about other anglers. So anyway, we could talk about a lot of that, but no, I'm not a big hater. I just like to keep it real. And so anyway, that's not true, Justin. All jerkbaits do not look like other jerkbaits. They are jerkbaits, but there are differences between all jerkbaits, okay? In the way that they are designed, the shape, the bill length and shape, the diving depth, the action, it's just more subtle. It's less obvious than you would see with other things like soft plastics or even crankbaits or swim baits, but whatever. Let's stop talking about it. See, Greg knows what he's talking about. And yes, Milliken is the man. I agree. All right, soft plastics just fall apart super quick. I have caught fish off their other baits. Not my go-to for sure. Yeah, no worries, Russ. Soft plastics are soft plastics. And they've made a point to go the route of trying to be more like Yamamoto. Lunkers TV was a huge Yamamoto fanboy back in the day. And so I don't blame them for putting a lot of salt in their baits, because it goes both ways. If they can get a cult-like following of people who will continue to buy their baits and be pretty loyal to them, and then double that with baits that are not super durable, then they're going to get people to come back and buy more of the same. So it doesn't really matter. Okay? Guys, I did not intend for this to be me talking bad about anybody. That is not my style. That's not what I'm about. I'm not interested in doing that. So let's kind of change the topic of conversation, and I'm going to get out of here pretty soon. We have 16 people in here, which is awesome. 14 thumbs up. Do me a quick favor. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. Leave a comment in the chat right now. And I'm just going to hang out for a couple more minutes because I'm trying to salvage my voice and not lose it. I'm going to spend the weekend with my daughters tomorrow and Sunday. And I'll be doing plenty of goofing around, probably making animal noises, singing. And yeah, I'm trying not to lose my voice. So Ron says, Tyler, have you ever fished a Harrison Vibra Batwing Sonic Lure? No, dude. I haven't even heard of it. So no. I wish I could tell you. Alex says, does anyone have any suggestions for good two-piece casting rods? That's a good question. I think all of my bait casting rods are one piece, if I'm not mistaken. I used to use some two-piece rods, but no, why are you asking, man? Honestly, you're going to get a little bit lower quality and durability when it comes to a two-piece rod versus a one. But, you know, portability is really the only upside to a two-piece rod. And so I'll ask, like, how are you traveling? Are you driving in a car? Because you could fit that thing in the front seat, or you can lay down the back seat and put a one piece just fine. Yeah, I agree. If you're going to do a spinning rod, then there's a lot of options. But two-piece casting rods are not as common. I'll say that. Ron says, Google it. 1962. I have two of them. Jeez, man. Harrison Vibra Batwing Sonic Lure. Ron, I'm probably not going to Google it right now. Send me a text, dude. Remind me of that so I can look it up later. After we hop off here, I'll check it out for sure. Maybe you should send me one of them. Just kidding. Russ says, Tyler, any recommendations on a good moderate action cranking rod? Sure. I've got two that I use. So this is my go-to cranking rod these days. And this is the Daiwa Tutula rod. I like that it's got a, you know, full cork handle. This is a 7-foot medium moderate, or I think they call it regular action. But this thing is rated for lures 1/4 ounce to 3/4 ounce. And I can't quite show you the tip on it, but it's just right for cranking or for jerking or for top waters, depending on how and where you fish. So in my opinion, it's a little bit long to use for jerking and for top waters a lot of the time. I like something a little bit shorter, but in my opinion, 7 foot is kind of ideal for cranking. So I like the Daiwa Tutula. When it comes to more of a jerkbait or topwater setup, I use this Lew's Custom Black. And this is a 6'9" medium, moderate, fast. And I've been really impressed with it so far as well. Both rods are really light and are a solid value. I want to say each of these rods retails at a little less than 150 bucks, but maybe right in that ballpark. So it depends on what you're looking to spend, but anyway, yeah, I would go with a medium power, moderate fast action. I think the medium power is more important than the moderate action, in my opinion, Russ. But yeah, no, this is not the Elite. It's just the standard Tatula. Okay, so as a result, it's a little bit cheaper. I think the Elite is closer to 200 bucks, and it's got a different look. It's like all silver or gray, and I think it has different grips. If I'm not mistaken, the Tatula Elite has foam grips, EVA foam instead of cork. So I prefer cork, and then I prefer wind grips, and then I prefer EVA foam. But that's just me. Justin says, I have a 10-foot bait casting rod my cousin gave me. LOL, it's huge. Yeah, that is laugh out loud funny. That's gigantic, dude. What the heck? Greg says, what's your go-to fluorocarbon and braid? Go-to fluorocarbon is Seagar and VizX. Don't mind the fact that this is 4-pound. I do intend to spool that up on a spinning rod or use it as leader material for ultralight fishing on one of my spinning setups. So Seagar and VizX, in my opinion, is like middle of the road for Seagar. Great value, solid line diameter, solid strength, just high quality fluorocarbon, and it is precision wound. So in my opinion, that's pretty important. Precision wound means that every strand of line is wound exactly next to the one before it. It's not a huge deal, but it is going to result in less line twist and better durability with the line. As for braid, I use a lot of Suffix 832. I don't have a lot of spools here close by. I might have one I can grab. So, yeah, Suffix 832. Now, I do like the Super Slick better than the standard 832. But I use both. Now, I've started playing around a little bit with the Yozuri Super Braid, Super 8, or whatever it's called. And then I've always used Power Pro, especially at the lower diameters. Now, Power Pro, as you get up higher, it can be a very coarse braid, and it's relatively thick. So I like, anywhere from 10 to 30 pound Power Pro. I've tried the Super Braid in now like 20 and 30 pound. And then Suffix 832 has become kind of my go-to for most of my setups that I use braid on. So I like that high-vis yellow on my spinning setups. And we could go through combos another time, but here's my do everything spinning setup. This is a Daiwa, what do they call this? This is the Exceller spinning reel. What I love about it is the metal handle, super smooth action to it. The bail, like you get out of Daiwa reels, is super heavy duty and does not make a lot of noise when you open and close it. That's one thing I don't like about Shimano, is that their bails are like really thin wire. And then other ones like Fluger, which I do have a Fluger President reel, it clicks when you open the bail and it clicks when you close it. That's just a little bit of a, you know, something that I don't care for, but I like the sound of the drag. And it's got a really smooth drag as well. So super high quality reel for like 80 bucks, something like that. And then the rod that I use is a St. Croix Triumph. Very affordable setup here. The Triumph is like a $100 rod. The Exceller is like an $80 reel, and I've been extremely happy and impressed with this setup. Now, on it, I've got 20-pound Suffix 832, the Super Slick in the High Vis green or yellow. I think they just call it High Vis. And then I run that to, you know, like a 6-pound fluorocarbon leader. And I usually use that Seagar and BizX. Sometimes I'll go down to a, you know, something more simple like the Berkeley Vanish. I'm not always super picky. And here right now, I've got rigged up a free rig. So I'm using a open eye drop shot weight. This is an 1/8 of an ounce. And it runs up the line to a bobber stop, okay? So you throw this out there, the weight goes first and it lands, and then the bait falls behind it and just kind of flutters down. So I've got a Pit Boss Junior on there right now, but there are a lot of baits that are good on the free rig. We could talk about the free rig another time. So Russ says, check out the Max Quattro braid. Good stuff. Right on, dude. Yeah, Berkeley X9. I've used that a little bit, and I've had mixed results with it. So, yeah, I understand why you're looking to switch. I've had just too many breakoffs on brands that I can't trust as much. So, I pretty much stick to those 3 for now. But I don't doubt that Russ is telling the truth in saying that Max Quattro is good. And yeah, I agree, Russ. Daiwa is legit. I like Shimano too. I like Luz as well. But when you're talking about standing the test of time, yeah, Daiwa and Shimano are going to be really the 2 brands that you ought to go with when it comes to gear, especially on the reel side of things. Now, there are a million companies making rods, so that's a little bit of a different ballgame. But for reels, yeah, I'd say Daiwa are probably my favorite. I use the Tatula SV, the Exceller, maybe 1 or 2 others. But with Shimano, I've got the Corrado, I've got the SLX, I've got the Tranks, and I have some of their cheaper spinning reels as well. So anyway, guys, we've been on here for almost an hour and a half. My voice is feeling a little bit strained. I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you guys hanging out. It's been fun. There's a chance I might be back on tomorrow night. I don't know. But look out for the giveaway coming up in the next week. And then if I don't see you before then, I'll be on next weekend, and we'll talk about the new baits that I got from Discount Tackle, including those chase baits, you know, the Love Bug and the Flip Flop, among a few other things. So, thank you again for hanging out. Hope you have a great rest of your Friday night. Have a good weekend. If you haven't already, leave a thumbs up on this video. And leave a comment in the comment section below, not in the chat, but below this video. Okay, guys? Appreciate you all. Cheers, homies.